What's going on?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If you wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
Hello, Nanook. You need some chicken soup or something tonight?
This is just wrong in Florida.
What is it?
46.
Okay, everybody in chat, send your thoughts and prayers and some white light to George for living in the tundra of Central Florida.
46 degrees in Florida. This is northern weather. You guys deserve this, not us.
That's all right. It's snowing out where I am right now. It's been snowing all day, all night.
2 days ago, I had to sit in the car for 5 minutes because of the ice on the windshield.
Ice on the windshield. Usually in Florida, the ice is usually in a Mai Tai or something like that. This must have been hell on earth for you, George.
This is insane. Absolutely insane. Anyway, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dead Air Live on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. It is our Sunday night show with myself and Mr. Ken DaCosta. And thank you guys for joining us wherever you are in this country. Please, I pray for your survival.
Yeah.
This is just unbelievable. I'm going to be burning up here soon enough, but here in the garage we don't have a heating system, so
I was going to say
too much.
Yeah, that's not going to last long.
But we are privileged to have our very special guest Nicole Strickland joining us here in just a second with incredible tales of the West Coast, of the Queen Mary, and so much more. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, also with the reminder bell for upcoming content. And the important part, click on that thumbs up, guys. It helps the algorithm like you don't know. Don't forget also our Patreon page, which we'll be talking about probably in the mid-show break. A little bit more content coming your way, and we're excited about it. But Ken, you've had an extremely busy and prosperous weekend. I'd like for you to talk to our audience about that a little bit.
Sure, thank you. Well, yesterday at the Alley Theater, Middleborough, Massachusetts, we held an event that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, Healing Andrea. And this was something put together to kind of help Andrea Perrin with a lot of the costs that have run up from the cancer treatment that she's going through. We, of course, wish her the best. And the thoughts and the prayers you're sending to her are vital. But we wanted to do something a little more tangible. Andrea is the kind of person who puts a lot of love out in the world, and when you put love out in the world, it should come back to you. And that was the case yesterday. Um, so first of all, George, I'm happy for Andrea. You
Yes.
know, and she did call in, and everybody's face just lit up. But so many people, Lorna Brunel, the theater owner, donating the theater to us. Maureen Hancock with a gallery reading. Tom Stewart and his company, Funny for Funds, which they do charity work with stand up comedians. Tom and Scott Higgins were there. So it was a fun time. Some gallery readings, and Maureen herself is a very funny person. I love the way she handles it. And a little comedy, a lot of laughs, give you an idea. This is some of our group from Rise Up and our Patreon friends, many of whom made the trip
Look at
to
that.
the theater yesterday. This was a case where, we had an idea. 7 people, like usual, immediately jump on board with it. They make it their own, and then they're all in on it, and then it becomes everybody's event. So, to the people who attended, the donors, the sponsors, we can't thank you enough because these things belong to all of us. And we were fortunate enough here, that's Tom and I, raised over $5,000 yesterday,
Wow.
Andrea, and that was just incredible. Incredible outpouring of support and love and having everybody together yesterday. So, absolutely successful event. Thanks, Jason Hawes and John Zaffis, for showing up and putting their time in, and for everybody who attended, especially the people who won the 2 Patriots playoff tickets today. Enjoy that snow.
Well, I mean, don't look now, Ken, but Jason Hawes, John Zappis, Cody Saturi. I think you had the first 2026 Paracon that weekend.
It did, and that's why I'm so appreciative of Tom, his company, doing it because they do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Collecting the tickets, selling the tickets, putting all the finances together. So all we really had to do was throw a party, and everybody came. The theater was sold out. Yeah, Sandy's saying, I said, if we can send $2,000 after this, that would be amazing. That would help so much. So yeah, Corey Heinzen was there as well for more comic relief. So
Well, I'm
thank you.
thrilled to death, and congratulations to all of you for the success of what happened there. And who knows, again, what that may lead to here in the future with that kind of success. And
Mhm.
yeah, during our phone call today, Ken, you made a very poignant fact of that, we don't ever want to get down the road of saying the word para-unity, but the paranormal community, this is what it was meant to be, sharing and caring and inviting, because you had some invitations we'll talk about some other time, upcoming, that will benefit, maybe at the break, it'll
Yeah.
benefit our Patreon members as well. So we'll keep you guys up to date with a lot of this stuff, but kudos to you and everyone else involved, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with a lot of the negative that goes on, um, this is what we were built for. To come together, those people who have a common interest, and spread a little bit of that out because God knows we all could use it right now. So it's wonderful. I'm glad everybody was laughing. Everybody had a good time. So most of all, happy for Andrea.
Yep. And it's time for us to expand our friends that much more, Ken, coast to coast, which is what we do on this show.
Yes.
So let's get started and bring our wonderful guest on for tonight, sir.
Absolutely. Coming to us from San Diego, California, we're really excited to welcome Nicole Strickland to the podcast, a longtime paranormal investigator and author, over 20 years of experience in the field, and she's especially known for her extensive work aboard the RMS Queen Mary. And we're going to talk about that a lot because we've had some questions about the past, present, and future of the ship. But what really sets Nicole apart is she has a very thoughtful, grounded approach, and someone who takes the history, the people, and the evidence seriously without leaning into the sensational. And we've been looking forward to this conversation. Can't wait to dive into her experiences, her research, and what she's learned after decades of investigating some truly, truly fascinating locations. So, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Come on in here with us.
Thank you, Ken and George, for having me. I've been really looking forward to this show. I think we booked it late December. I was actually on board the Queen Mary when I got the message from you, so I'm really excited. And I didn't know about Andrea. Oh my gosh, my heart breaks. Lots of prayers for her. I actually met her, speaking of the Queen Mary, aboard the ship
Really?
during Amy Bruni's Strange Escapes conference. I think that was in 2017.
Hmm.
A lovely individual. Everyone was so wonderful. And I remember sitting, we were in the Britannia room, and I remember sitting watching her talk, Andrea, and you could see, at least I did, the white halo around her. It was just tremendous. So my
She's a high
she
vibrational gal, let me tell you.
absolutely. Oh my gosh. I might need to reach out to her. My prayers for her. Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah.
So, but thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. All right. So, as I talked about prior to air, I'm going to jump off of here. I think I'll find a space heater somewhere here. And
Yeah.
in the meantime, I'll leave you with Mr. DaCosta to kick it off. And again, welcome to Dead Air.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, George. Yeah, snowing out where I am right now, but we got that hardy northeastern stock here.
Right?
And
Yeah, not the soft, furry, fluffy kind that you see in Colorado. Yeah, us, we're not snowing, of course, here
yeah.
in San
And
Diego.
I'm not
Nope,
gonna lie, I
sunny.
get a heater right behind me here. So
Yeah, of course.
okay. So I want to get into a little bit of your background. You spent years investigating on the West Coast, and you've spent some time. Have you spent some time in the Northeast as well?
No, not as much. Mostly the West Coast, a little bit in more on the Midwest, but not as much on the East Coast.
Right. Well, when you get out
Yeah,
here, look me up.
unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately.
Look me up. We'll hook you up.
Oh, yep,
Absolutely.
likewise.
We've
Likewise.
half a dozen places you're welcome at. So,
Awesome.
um,
Likewise when you guys come out here.
but you are a researcher, so I'm sure that you're familiar with a lot of locations. In your years of doing this, do you feel like a difference between hauntings on the West Coast, the Midwest, what you do know about the eastern part of the United States, maybe a little more colonial out here as opposed to, a more modern type of, when I say modern, of course, we're talking hundreds of years, but
Oh,
a
yeah,
different
right.
kind of transient thing on the West Coast.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I don't think I've investigated enough locations on the East Coast or even really in the Midwest to really notice a main difference. But I will say, at least it maybe used to be maybe approaches were a little different in years past.
Hmm.
More conservative versus more liberal, that sort of thing. But with when you have add history to the subject matter, and there's different layers of history, I think that can affect things too. I know for us out here in San Diego,
Hmm.
Southern California, and in totality, I guess you had people coming out here. During the gold rush days, you had people coming out here, but even prior to that, the Native American influence, then the different periods of Southern California history. So, the Mexican period, the Rancho period, all of that
Hmm.
plays into it. But for me, in terms of differences in investigations or maybe uh, types of evidence that are captured, I haven't really investigated enough on the East Coast or the Midwest to really notice a difference.
Yeah. I mean, and
You
that's
know,
fair. And that's fair enough. We haven't spent a lot of time on the West Coast either, but I guess there's commonalities. Indigenous peoples are one. On
right,
the West
right.
Coast, you had Spanish colonization, as you mentioned, the gold rush, rapid
Hmm.
industrialization. So, I mean, when you investigate there, do you feel those overlapping histories in the activity there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I actually it's funny, well, it's not really funny, I don't know why I said that, but I've talked about the different layers in my book, San Diego's Most Haunted. You
Mhm.
know, so you have going back thousands of years, the Native American influences, and then the Mexican period, and then the Rancho period, San Diego's Old Town, and then New Town, and all of that. That does play into. I kind of think of it like an onion. There's so many different layers to different histories, and a lot of the places that I've investigated out here in San Diego as well as Southern California, you do see that those different layers kind of all kind of combine in a sense.
Yeah. There are places all over this country that are iconic. West Coast, Midwest,
Oh yeah.
Southeast, and
Yeah.
they've been investigated. Maybe they've been over investigated to some degree.
That's right. Yep.
So a lot of times when we go into those places, we're like, we have to take a different approach. Like, what can I ask that is been different from 150,000 people that have ever been here? Like, how can I be somewhat unique? If we look at like over here, the Lizzie Borden house, we've gone in multiple times, never talk about a murder or a trial because we're not there to rejudiciate what's already in the books. Have you ever had a case on the West Coast, someplace that's off the beaten path, that you didn't expect too much, but it turned out to be, it revealed itself to be actually one of your most compelling investigations?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I often tell people, especially with the locations that are heavily investigated, the
Hmm.
iconic, the well-known ones, I tell people, those are unique because when you go in there, you have to sift through what is authentically paranormal by itself versus going in there and trying to sift through activity that may have been almost like a forced haunt or may have been caused by the living. In other words, wasn't really paranormal to begin with, but something that maybe investigators have caused, like a tulpa or something like that. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. I'm not going to really go into private homes.
Yeah,
Some
no,
of
I don't
the
want you to go there, but
Yeah, let's try. I'm trying to think of yeah, a lot of the private investigations, residence investigations that we've done have been striking and very compelling. I'm trying to think of a place off the beaten path that proved to be quite interesting. Oh my gosh, I can't think of one off the top of my head actually.
mm,
Um, Yeah, I can't.
I
Yeah,
mean, it could be
my mind's drawing a blank. Uh,
an
San
inn, a
Pasqual
hotel.
actually, yeah, San Pasqual Battlefield actually might is coming up.
There you
And
go.
so that borders, uh, it used to be called Wild Animal Park, and now it's, San Diego, Safari or whatever. And so we were out there, and they have a whole museum and everything out there. But we were, and this was a very short investigation. It wasn't really, a whole planned out 8, or 10 hours or anything like that. But we had some compelling personal experiences and some compelling EVP out there that you would never really have thought of. But a lot of the places that I've, worked on out in San Diego and Southern California have been either private residences or business locales or known historic sites.
Sure, you got to protect anonymity on those things. Totally
Oh,
respect it.
yeah, absolutely.
But I'm glad, pardon me, I'm glad you mentioned residential cases because it's something that, we still do. And actually, when my group started, we were built for that. We didn't think of
Right,
ourselves, well, let's go here or there. We do out of our own curiosity. But
right.
I often say this, and it's not in a condescending matter. Private residence is not everybody is wired for it. It
Oh,
takes a
absolutely.
whole different approach.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a lot of, well, I want you to speak on it, but it takes a different type of mindset, attitude, compassion. ability to connect with people, and it's not just simply setting equipment around. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about your experiences, in private residences, your approach, and how that differs from, the RMS Queen Mary, let's say.
Yeah, there's, as you know, a lot of similarities in the sense of, using different equipment or methodologies, so to speak, but you're taking into consideration, a family dynamic, someone's living quarters. And I know we
Mhm.
have a rule that if all the adults at the location, if there's one person that doesn't want us to come in and do an investigation, then we won't. Everyone has to be in agreement. But you're taking into consideration, confidentiality, different dynamics. You have to consider illness and mental illness, physical illness, a lot of factors that could potentially maybe causing the paranormal or heavily influencing it. So it's not just going into a location that is that knows that its site is active, paranormal wise. So there's a lot of factors to consider. Oh, what was I going to say? Something. That actually I want to talk about experience. It's not a private residence. It was actually at a business up in Oceanside. But it's almost, how do I say this? We almost approach it like a social work type of case
Right.
where we go in very methodically. We want to obviously build rapport and establish that rapport immediately, but really get into talking to them about what's going on there, and not just once. Maybe we'll do a pretty lengthy phone interview. Then we might follow that up with a more comprehensive interview and getting other residents or witnesses accounts. But it's one of those things that if there's any chance of maybe hurting the family dynamic or harming them or making a situation for them worse, that's when we usually call and say, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
So like you said, there's just a lot more to consider.
You and I are going to end up being great friends because everything you
You sure about that?
everything everything you mentioned there is so important to us. The first thing was making sure, and I can't believe someone else said it, making sure everybody at that residence is on board with us being
Oh, absolutely.
there.
And
Because there's
even too,
nothing more
oh, go.
awkward, than somebody just doesn't want you in their home.
No, I know it, and even on our website, we'll flat out list, here are the reasons we won't take on a case. We've had people wanting us to come in and investigate just so they can get on the news and
Mm,
just so they can get media attention. If that's all you want, no, it has to, man, it's delicate. It's a delicate procedure, and it needs to be handled, as you know, as we
yeah,
know,
yeah.
with, the dignity. So,
Well, I think the biggest thing too going in there, and unfortunately I see too much of it, is we're trying to take away fear and not introduce it. So if that means coming in and, making a few appropriate jokes or having a cup of coffee with everybody, because if they see you're calm, then I think they follow your lead because the anxiety is probably ramped up. Everything's paranormal, and you got to kind of take away a little bit of that fear. Unfortunately, when people go into homes, a lot of times they introduce the fear
yeah.
because you can use fear to control people. And not only is it morally wrong, it's just like totally unethical.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where a little education can come in handy. And it really should start the second meet the family or meet the people that you're working with. So agree.
Absolutely. And before we go any further, I also want to tell everybody out there to hang in today because Nicole was kind enough to forward some audio clips from some of her investigations. We will be
Mm.
getting to those. So that's fun. And I'm going to give you a heads up on this ahead of time. They are some of the better clips that have been submitted to us on this show.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
they're fascinating, and it's not one of those play it again. I hear something else. It's going to be pretty awesome. Do you have a location out where you in your parts that has been puzzling to you, or maybe left some unanswered questions that maybe you keep returning to, like, I need more, I want more, there has to be more. It could be more
Yes.
than one,
Yes.
it could be, but what are those?
Well, I mean, I'll preface this by saying that I would love to do a case study at every location. Maybe not every location, but many locations I come across because, a one-nighter or two-nighter overnight investigation doesn't really tell you much. So I would love to do case studies, but
That's right.
I mean, the Queen Mary is more of a case study for me, but the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, now that's up in Vista, California. So
Hmm.
that's sandwiched in between Oceanside to the west and then San Marcos to the east. And so this is a very old land rancho. In 1850, it was deeded to a Native American by the name of Felipe Subria. And then over the years, there were many different owners that either owned that functioned as proprietors or either owned and lived at the property. So a lot of these were pioneer families of Southern California. So very, very historic. The city of Vista purchased it in 1989. And my team, the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, we had about 10 years of tenureship on the site. So we did twice a month, we did paranormal tours. We actually operated it like an investigation. Started off with a little mini presentation. So the tour money actually went back into the Adobe, and then we did several
Excellent.
private investigations at the site as well. And so it's a great example of how having tenureship at a site, you
Hmm.
can start to see the correlations between the site's history and that of your paranormal occurrences, whether it's a personal experience or a captured piece of evidence. And for one, I don't know why, and I know ITC, instrumental transcommunication, can be very subjective, but for some reason at that site, that form of audio methodology seemed to work above others. And that's the one site I've never had that replicated at any other site.
Hmm.
But
Well,
it's
I
one
think.
of those where, yeah, I want to keep going back because it was a case of where we felt some of the spiritual energies there, almost in a way got to know us over time. And we
Hmm.
would hear some of the same sounds, same voices month after month. So pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, the idea is if you're able to have repeat visits, I'm sure you'll agree that you start to build a relationship with the physical property
Right.
as well as any kind of spirit energy that's there. And there are places we spent 11 years doing,
That's
or a
awesome.
year doing, because it's difficult when and this could be private residences, they could be business,
Hmm.
when everybody tells you their story. And in the real world, maybe you get 5 or 6 hours there. You know, you can't expect every experience to happen to you that might have someone living there 20 years or working there 15 years has had in that time.
Well
So the
said.
advantage of being able to return and replicate those situations, I mean, it's a great advantage to what we do.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I miss it. I miss it. The pandemic uh obviously happened. Well, obviously it happened, but that greatly affected, us doing more tours. So maybe in the future we can start back up again, but it's a fantastic property. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. There's
Well,
another land rancho up there too by the name of Rancho I just forgot the name of it. I was just going to say it and my brain's not working tonight. What the heck? What's wrong with me? Rancho oh my god.
it's 2020 all over
I'll
again.
Yeah, seriously, I will remember it. I promise. I don't know. I say it all the time. Oh man, let's end the show right now. Seriously.
Yeah, well, 2020 knocked the shit out of everybody, so
Good God, I'm gonna.
it'll come
Mm-mm.
back.
It will.
Um, yeah, but the idea that you can get to go into a place under
Yeah.
different weather conditions, different types of groups, You can use females, males, combination, and you do all of those things. But it's important. Let me ask you this now: how much equipment
Mm.
do you use? Um, and where is your parameters as far as when is enough, when is it too much, and you feel maybe there's, and this is me talking, that sometimes that there's an over reliance on equipment.
Oh, thank you. Yep,
Yeah.
thank you for saying that. Rancho Guajome, folks, it came back into my brain. Aren't we all excited? That was the other land rancho. I often say what you just said. Yeah, I don't necessarily, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I mean, who am I, right? But in my experience, every case is different, and you need to tailor what you're doing, your approaches, and your methodology to meet the parameters of that case, or
Mhm.
the characteristics of it, so to speak. So I don't necessarily take a cookie cutter approach. I will look at what's going on there and the claims, and then initially devise something maybe more simple, and then as time goes on, depending on what we get, do a little bit more in depth. But I do think that sometimes there might be an over reliance on equipment. I mean, with some of the equipment, we don't even know if some of these energies may be turned off by them. Is it harmful for them? I don't know. These are questions that I ask myself. But I find too that when there's too much equipment laying around, oftentimes investigators will spend all their time looking
Yeah.
at the equipment, staring at the equipment in hopes of a light going off or something. And then all those hours go by and you've missed what your
Mhm.
senses can pick up.
Mhm.
There's no such thing as a ghost detector. I've been asked, okay, what's the best piece of equipment out there? Well, it's ourselves, really. You know, ourselves,
Right up
people,
above your shoulders. Yeah. I mean,
right?
we we own a lot of stuff, and at this point I take a backpack into places because I, and again, like you, this is
I
me.
get it.
This is me. Less is more. I don't really need instant gratification. When you're staring at the world through a viewfinder on a camera, you're
Yep.
missing everything around you. And
Right.
when you're dealing with spirits, when you're dealing with living people in a place, you're dealing with the human experience. So,
Yes.
like, what time did this happen? This is why we ask people to keep journals, right? What time did it
Right?
happen? Who was
Little
there?
little
And all the
notepad and
rest of
pen, people.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, right. So let's pull on a thread and find the common denominators. Hey, maybe it's you. And there's no amount of things that go ping and buzz and that's going to resolve that. But you do you. I mean, everybody out there, you do you. I'm just
Right, yeah.
I'm just saying I like to be unencumbered. I don't like to wear a tactical vest with a bunch of stuff hanging on it.
No,
Uh,
I agree with you, and I've found in the times that we've done that, which is most of the time, we get more engagement. We have more captures as opposed, you know what I mean? At least for us.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
interesting. I it's
spirit saying, Who the hell is this?" and "Why are you pointing this thing at me?"
I know, right? I'm gonna swap out my light here real quick.
Sure.
It's
Um,
driving me nuts.
yeah, you take your time. Let's before I get George in there, let's cover Queen Mary real quick. Take us back to
Oh,
your first times there, your first experience. How did that inform your going forward, as far as what was the experience like and how did it shape your understanding of what might be going on there?
I think oh, there she is, beautiful Queen
There
Mary.
she
I
is.
think yeah, I think a lot of it was almost, I hate to say this, it sounds so hokey, but destiny. So how it started is now my mom ballroom danced in the Veranda Grill, which was the first class Starlight Roof Club back in the day, in the 30s, when the ship, sailed on its maiden voyage
Oh,
in
how cool.
1936, and so I knew about the ship, but I didn't first see her until I was attending the University of Arizona. It was our junior year, and a friend of mine during spring break came out here to go on a 3-day Carnival cruise, and there's the Carnival cruise port adjacent to the Queen Mary there. So that was the first time that I saw the ship from the back seat of a car, and I just instantaneously, while looking at the ship, I said to myself, I will be back there one day, and that day came in 2005.
Mm,
And this is something that is hard to put in words. I've tried in my writings and presentations about the ship to uh, elaborate on this, but the very first time that I actually stepped off the gangway and on board the Queen Mary, which would have been A deck, which is one of the hotel decks, I everything about the ship was familiar to me. I even said to myself, "Oh my gosh, I've been here before." Everything felt at home, everything felt very peaceful, very loving, and it was almost an instantaneous soul connection with the ship, so to speak. But at that point, did I know that I was going to, write books in the future and do all? No, I didn't. But it played out naturally as it was supposed to do, so to
mhm.
speak. So it wasn't something that I initially planned. Oh, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. It just,
Right.
it developed naturally.
Just kind of organic. Yeah. I've only had one
Right.
place that's ever happened to me ever where there was something about it. Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. But that
Oh,
but that's
yeah.
another we'll leave that behind. This is not about me, actually. Um,
Oh, darn. I wanted to hear it. No, that's okay. We'll
well,
talk another
maybe
time.
after show we'll do it.
Yeah.
I've got very much more on the Queen Mary. We've got all the time in the world to circle back. So my last question on that, and we'll get back to it, but that's one of those haunted, like iconic locations we talk about. And
Yes.
the history. It's documented, it's heavily investigated. How do you cut through that with any preconceived ideas that you may have about that? And every time you go, it's like, okay, I've been here 15 times, but I still have to be objective. I gotta
Right.
like check that at the door because this is a different night and every situation is different. So is that something that you kind of work on when you go in there?
Yeah, yes, and again, it's one of those things I think that happens organically in a way, but I will say this is a prime example of how history and historical timelines can be best friends with the paranormal. There's that
Yeah.
interconnective kinship. And so I think what's helped me in that regard is I'm not just interested in the Queen Mary for the paranormal. That's just an added component. I'm interested in the ship's history.
Hmm.
And never again will we ever have an ocean liner like the Queen Mary that has had the unprecedented career that she's had. I mean, so much, it was so stellar that no ship should have ever had that type of career, but yet she did. So I think my understanding of the ship's history and the people that worked and sailed on it has helped with that. Now, there's a lot of false rumors circulating online and myths and stuff, and I'm aware of those, but I don't let those affect the work that I do. But when you're at a place like I mentioned, the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, when you've traveled to a place many times, and for me it's been 20 years with the Queen Mary, you start to develop patterns in the type of activity, and you, even with some of the intelligent energies on there, you start to develop an idea of their personalities and things like that. So I think that that's what's happened for me over the years.
Hmm. That's
So
outstanding. All right, so we're going to bring George in, but when we get back a little bit later, we're going to play those clips. George, where are you?
sure.
You got
It's getting colder.
snow on the palm tree.
It's
When we
getting
get back, we're going to play those clips. We're going to talk a little
and
bit
and
about
and and
Queen
Ken,
Mary.
stay there for a minute too, because
Okay.
um, I feel quite honored in the sense that you've got Nicole, who's very much attached to an iconic location, the Queen Mary, and I don't know if you know this, Nicole. Ken is also very attached to an iconic location up here, the Conjuring House.
Oh, so I get, see, I understand that. I
Yes.
So
do.
yes, you guys are kind of the same mindset. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
really
and
is.
it's that's why we wanted to talk about approach at a place that's famous,
Yeah.
and those things you got to put them all in the box because every night's a different night. So very cool, very cool. All right, so when we return, we'll do that. But I'm going to turn this over to George right now. Nicole, you haven't. Don't give up on me. I'll be back.
Never.
All right. Thank you very much, Ken. I appreciate it. You went on a Carnival cruise. My mom worked for Carnival for 19 years.
What? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I went on probably about 7 or 8 cruises over that time frame.
Oh, wow. Oh my
So
gosh. Yeah, I've only
mm,
gone on 2 Carnival cruises, but there's oh man. I like to go on the QM too, Queen Mary too one day. I know people
right,
that have, and it's pretty cool.
I'm waiting to see whether or not I think they're rebuilding the Queen Mary also, or the Titanic. I'm not sure which one they were going
Oh,
to
it
be
would
rebuilding.
yeah, because Queen Mary 2 is already out there. So yeah, it would be yeah, I heard yeah. I have read about that.
When you've written your books about the Queen Mary, how much did you include Nicole Strickland, or was it strictly historical and then the accountable paranormal events that have taken place that you've recorded that other people have had? Or is it also the essence of you being there and what you felt also?
Yeah, it's actually a combination. So the first book I wrote, Hana Queen of the Seas, the living legend of the RMS Queen Mary, that was is basically an overview of its history and an overview of some of the paranormal activity on board. And that does get a little bit into some of the experiences that I've had, as well as other people. But Spirited Queen Mary, her haunted legend, that is very in depth in terms of my experiences on board spanning many many years as well as other people, a little bit more in depth on the hotspot locations or locations on board that are known to have a lot of activity. Pretty much any location on board is fair game, as well as others, a little bit more into the personalities of some of the known energies there. And then RMS Queen Mary, voices from her voyages. No paranormal in that one. That is actually, I interviewed a ton of people. So, former crew, passengers, war brides, and World War II vets that actually sailed on the Queen Mary. And so it's a collection of their stories and their memories from sailing on the Queen Mary. So, yeah, and then I'm working on a 4th one too, can you believe it? Yes, I am. So, a 4th book coming out soon. So, yeah, I just can't stop writing about it, I guess.
Well,
So
we're going to cover all of your
uh,
books in the second hour, but let's go back to that because I think it's very, very important. And I've heard you speak on this before also. It's very important uh, involvement in World War II. Or was it
yeah.
in the total? The Queen Mary did 1,001
Total voyages, yeah,
voyages.
1,001
Yes,
voyages, right. The last one was known as the Last Great Cruise, and that was a 31-day voyage that left Southampton, and then, after going to several different ports, arrived in Long Beach on December 9th of 1967.
but a troop transport during the Second World War is
Yes.
where she really cut her teeth. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and her and the Queen Elizabeth was at which actually started out in World War II, her sister ship. They, according to Winston Churchill, had lessened the duration of the war by about a year. And
Wow.
so, they were requisitioned mainly for their size and speed, but at one point, this would have been the July 25th through the 30th of 1943. So during her like GI shuttle days, she carried 16,683 troops plus crew, so total, and no, she's held that record ever since.
And a ship that is normally supposed to hold
Third, yeah,
4,000?
less than that. Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, just stand. Just look up online, Google Queen Mary during the war, and you can see the standing room only.
Yeah, and
So
unfortunately, be it the rough seas, be it mechanical failure, but there was a horrible collision that occurred at one point in time with a much older ship.
yeah, I can talk about that. So during the war, because she was a constant threat, German U-boats were constantly after her. There was a $250,000 award uh, that would be awarded to any German U-boat submarine operator for sinking the Queen Mary. Of course, that never happened. So, because of that threat, she had to be constantly sailing in these zigzag motions. So she was on a number 8 zigzag, and this would have been October 2nd of 1942. So she had one of her World War I escort ships, the HMS Curacao. So they were on doing this zigzag path, and what ended up happening is the compass was off by about 2 degrees. So that caused, it was about 2:10 p.m., and that caused the Queen Mary to hit and slice through the Curacao. And over 300 of its British sailors perished either by drowning, being burned, or tragically being dismembered by the Queen Mary's propellers. So, and it
Yeah,
was
right.
eventually deeded to be two-thirds the Curaçao's fault, I believe, and one-third the Queen Mary. But yeah, big tragedy for that day. And the Queen Mary couldn't stop because she had Navy orders. If you stop, you're a sitting duck. So all they could do was just throw out life preservers.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why she was never sunk by a submarine also was some of her record-setting and award-winning speeds, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Very
So,
much so.
26 knots, or was it
26.5 was the average. Gosh, I have it in writing. I think she got close to I have it written down. I want to say I don't know the exact, but it was yeah, it was above 30. It's in my
amazing?
book somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, for a vessel
But
of that size,
oh, I
and
know. Yeah.
yeah, and much bigger than the Titanic.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people think the Titanic's still bigger. I'm like, nope. Titanic could sit inside. Could fit right inside.
One of the things I know Ken always talks about with regards to his team and his style of investigating is the familiarity with the spirits on a location.
Right.
Because of what you've done in research, because of so many of the people you've spoken to, has that been part of your adaptation in an investigation? In other words, you can empathize, you can realize, and you know what's going on there. And do you think that attributes to your success as an investigator on the Queen Mary?
That's a very good point. I think it's imperative for us investigators to somewhat build a rapport with the energies that we work with. That's just important wherever you go. But in terms of the Queen Mary, uh, being able to identify certain themes or have somewhat of a knowledge of or experience working with these energies, yes, it does help you. It gives a more humanized approach to what you do, and so I've actually uh, people have actually complimented me on having the empathy and understanding of some of these energies. So I try. Do I know everything about these energies? Absolutely not. And maybe some of my theories are incorrect, but there's quite a few resident energies on board that I've been able to communicate with year after year, and it's quite remarkable, actually.
It's got to be almost comical how
Yeah,
antiquated some of
I
the
do.
investigate because you're on there, and I'm sure you
Oh
have
man.
novice investigators come on and go through the TV show version of EVP sessions.
Oh yes. Yep. You right.
When did you die? It's just like, come on, have a little bit of an understanding of you're speaking to, the spirit of someone who used to live.
Right. I don't even like asking that question, but yeah, I mean, I've heard people talking about rumors that have been proven to be false. I'll hear them talking about. I'm like, oh my gosh, that didn't happen. It's annoying. It really is. But
The
you know,
tours, have they come to you or have you approached them when they've done the tours and you're like, that's really not true? don't, don't bring that up.
there was a group of us that have talked a little bit about there was and I'm not going to mention his name because just out of respect for the family, but there were some rumors about what happened to a 18-year-old fireman and bilge cleaner in the number 3 boiler room. Sadly, he was found
Yeah.
crushed,
Yeah.
right? We know that story in watertight door 13 on the starboard shaft alley side. So there's I'm not going to even go through it, but there's rumors that he was doing this, which he most likely wasn't based on ship status at the time. So there is a group of us that have let people know about that. So, and to my knowledge, the tour guides and the crew members on board are very respectful to this individual's story, which is good.
Do any of these tour guides, when they get an opportunity, do they listen or absorb to what it is that you've done the research on? Because obviously they're only given a script, so to speak, to bring on board there. Or do you have to kind of go up the echelon to find somebody to say, just so you know, and this is important to your talk about the little girl, you talk about some of the other people that were on board. Um, are they receptive to it, or is it just, hey, we're entertainers? And that's a difficult line to cross
It is
because you
very
understand.
yeah, it is very difficult. I've not and there have been so many different tour guides that have come and gone, in the last 20 years. I haven't ever personally gone up to them and said, "Oh, can you incorporate this or that?" I kind of feel like I'd be crossing a line in a way. But I do know that the scripts have been revised over the years, and the individuals that have helped write them have a lot of knowledge on the Queen Mary. But, there are and again, there's I know some of the tour guides, some may share maybe an experience that maybe they've had that I don't know about, which is, that can happen, but, it's a fine line, and, yeah, I've actually never really gone up to them and said, "Oh, okay, I want" 'cause I don't work on board. Some people think I do. I'm like, "No, I have my books sold on board, but I don't work for the ship." So I've played it safe in that regard.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
It's hard, what we do in the field as field investigators. We live in the land of make believe, and you take those words at its root cause, and we're trying to make people believe what it is that is in existence out there, either by our stories or by our evidence. Nowadays, as you know, putting evidence out there 90% of the time, people are just going to simply dispel it because there is so much fake that's out there
Oh,
also.
yeah. Yeah.
So those
Right.
tales, I think, hold more weight today than they ever did before. That would be the incentive for people to go out there and want to experience that same thing. To your knowledge on the Queen Mary, what was the most profound personal experience that people would aspire to experience themselves?
Oh, that's a hard one because I've had so many. I will say if you have an experience that
And
contains
non-evidential, I'm not talking about you caught it on ABC, just you experienced it.
just a personal yeah, that's where I was going. I've had so many of those, and of course, evidential as well, and I've had situations where I've had a personal experience or two with a captured type of evidence, like an audio clip. But one of the most profound, just because it was my first, and at the time that I had this, I didn't really know at that time about the ghostly phenomena on board. But my very first time staying on board in 2005, I was on A deck, forward port side A deck, and it was after midnight. I want to say around 1 a.m. I decided to go out and walk around, and so I remember going out in the hallway, and I remember turning left to go forward, but something instinctively told me turn around. So I turned around, and there in the middle of the hallway was a little girl wearing like a light blue dress, and she just kind of stood there looking at me with like a slight smile on her face. And then after maybe a half a second, she disappeared, faded away.
Jackie?
And so Jackie, right. So throughout the years, at that time I didn't know it was her, but throughout the years, I absolutely feel that that was her based on other experiences. I will say something about Jackie, though. Is there a possibility of a psychokinetic creation or a tulpified form of Jackie on board the ship just from the amount of people going on there every day wanting to experience her? Maybe, maybe not, but I do believe she's real. I absolutely do, but there could be that other version too.
Excuse me. I think that I side with the ideology that energy exists because the entity exists. Same
Yeah.
thing at the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. There's a little girl there called Lily,
Oh, yes, Lily. Oh my gosh.
and
Mm,
she has certainly made her appearances very, very well known. And again, I don't believe that that's a tulpa or a manifestation
right.
by belief of people that are going in there. But again, to each their own on how this is. Again, we're in the land of make believe. So it depends on your perspective on what goes on with that. But um, what I want to do, because we got to go to break right now, give you a chance to take a break also. When we come back on the other side, Ken, if you want to come back on screen, I know that we've got some more questions with regards to the Queen Mary, your experiences. We've got some evidence to present, and we've got some updated information for our Patreon members right after the break, also. So you guys stay with us. When we come back on the other side, we'll continue our discussion with a very special guest, Nicole Strickland. You're watching Dead or Live on the Dead or Full Spectrum channel. We'll be back after these messages.
We'll be right back after the commercial break.
I was built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on the gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quench the thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic. Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this.
I can tell we need to talk about things, so I'll let you start. Yes, I'm listening. Oh, I understand that. You need help with what you say? Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy because the last time that we talked about this, I felt like I was really clear. I gave you everything that you needed to hear, but you're still asking me for more. No, I'm just trying to understand what you're asking for. Because the only thing that I can't really describe right now is how angry I am about you not listening to what I said before. You're just not listening. You're projecting and you're not listening. You're not listening. No, you're not listening. All right, what do you have to say? I'm listening. You make me feel like I'm losing my mind. I said it, and you're still not understanding. I've given you everything that you've been looking for. What else could I do? What else can I give you? What else can I say? What else do you need from me? I am. I'm going crazy. Yeah, I'm repetitive. I'm saying it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Why should I repeat myself? 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 Why should I repeat myself?
And now, back to our show.
Easy Teach.
That song for Paranormal Teach is just like how we all feel in the paranormal. It's like
Easy Teach. Easy.
keep saying it over and over and over and over again. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Very special guest this evening, Nicole Strickland. And before we continue on, we have to go back and revisit yesterday's amazing event, Funny for Funds, benefiting our dear friend Andrea Perrin. And during that event, Canada, you made some connections that may really make our Patreon members very happy.
Yeah, there was a few things that we're going to do. Next month, we're heading down to Wilmington, North Carolina to investigate the aircraft carrier, the USS Lexington. Last night I got to meet the new owners of the SK Pierce Mansion. I met Rob there, and partner, his name escapes me. I apologize, but Marion Luma, who's longtime docent there, knows more about that place than anybody's ever forgotten. There is a strong possibility we were kind of invited to go ahead and do a live investigation from SK Pierce, another iconic place, and likely will be on a Sunday. And we're strongly considering making that available to our Patreon viewers. As is the case with YouTube, we will do a post mortem where we'll be showing clips and discussing them with people who were present. So those of you on YouTube won't necessarily miss out on that. You'll get the ESPN highlights on that, but
The redacted version.
yeah. So, but we're going to try to make arrangements with them. Rob and John, thank you, Dan. John was the other one. They are great guys, and they are doing all they can as the new owners of that place to really reach out into the paranormal community and bring people into the fold, which I think is outstanding and a great choice on their part. So they happened to reach out to us last night. So when we can arrange it, people have been asking, when is the next live investigation? Well, there might be a couple coming up in the future, but certainly looking forward to that one. So hang with us because that's going to be coming sooner, probably rather than later.
Yeah. And we've also, Ken and I talked about the fact of inviting uh, them onto the show to talk about SK Pierce.
Love it.
We're also trying to organize and get together our very next paranormal game show. We're putting all of the ducks in a row here, as we always try to do for you guys. And we appreciate, again, you guys that are there following us, subscribing, doing the thumbs up, all that stuff. So thank you very much on behalf of Ken and myself.
Well, one of the prizes last night was an investigation for 6, and it was won by Dan and Celine last night.
Ooh.
So we may do some recon with Dan and Celine. We'll be driving down from New York to do that, so
That is awesome. That is awesome.
cool.
All right. We'll get back now to the main reason we're here tonight, which is the main lady that's on screen, Nicole Strickland, author, lecturer, paranormal investigator, and just a great, great, great guest. And we appreciate it so much. And Ken, I'll leave it back to you, sir, at this time.
Okay, listen, we're not going to dilly-dally too much here. We're going to get into those clips. But first, I wanted to give you, when we say author, we're not kidding, folks. We weren't messing around.
Oh my God.
This is a sample of the Nicole's books, and you could probably just look her up on Amazon or possibly her own website. One thing I want to do before I forget, can you tell us a little bit about the Afterlife Chronicles?
Oh, sure. Yeah. One quick note. Field Guide to Southern California Hauntings. I've taken out of print because I plan to do a newer version. So just make that note. So the Afterlife Chronicles,
It's a
exploring the
rarity
connection.
now.
It-
It's pricier now.
it's probably selling for $90. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Okay, so the Afterlife Chronicles. All right. So that is exploring the connection between life, death, and beyond. That gets into a lot of my stories with departed loved ones involving like synchronicity, dream visitations. It gets into theories about the survival of soul after death, uh, uh, things you can do, meditation, things that you can do to help you connect with loved ones, spirit guides. There's a lot of stuff in that book.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and whatnot. So
Buy the books.
okay.
Buy the books. I don't ask much from you people, but buy Nicole's books. Okay, so let's get on to some of these investigations. The first one up, and we'll give you a chance to give us context and kind of
Sure.
set up the background. The first one we're going to show you is from the Lincoln Theater
Yes.
out in Illinois.
Yeah.
Iconic theater, iconic haunted place. So, Nicole, if you want to set up this clip, then by all means, go ahead and do that.
Sure. So I'm the California coordinator for the Ghost Research Society, headed up by Dale Katzmarek. So it was 2009, and we were all attending Troy Taylor's conference there at the Lincoln Theater. And so during the night, actually, our team at the end got to investigate, GRS got to investigate the theater all night. So Nicole Tito, Lisa Crick, and I were down in the dressing room area underneath the stage. And it was just the three of us. And so we each had a recorder. Lisa's was on voice activation mode. So you'll hear me say, "What are you going to perform tonight?" There's an answer. We did not hear this, which makes it an EVP. And then you hear me say, "What are you getting ready for?" So there's a response in between those two questions. Again, Lisa did not capture this on her recorder. We think because she had it on voice activation mode, but Nicole and I did.
Okay, so 3 females present, no male at the time.
Nope.
And Nicole, because we're really good friends, now took the liberty of repeating, which I love.
I like to
When a
do
clip
that. I just do.
repeats so that
I
we don't
do.
have to go back to it. But I ruined everything by putting what is said there, but I don't think it's going to give much away. But here is the clip from the Lincoln Theater. You're going to love this.
What are you going to perform tonight?
Magic.
What are you getting ready for? What are you going to perform tonight?
Magic.
What are you getting ready for?
Magic. Magic. Magic.
Awesome.
There you have it, right? That clip has made the rounds on the internet between Nicole, Lisa, and I. And so, actually, just one caveat to that: one of Nicole's friends, I guess, works at the Lincoln Theater or did work at the Lincoln Theater.
Hmm.
She thinks that voice that says "magic" is actually the voice of one of the Blackstone, performers. So I
Ooh,
think Harry Senior and I think his name is Harry Junior.
yeah.
Because we were thinking, "Oh, is it Houdini?" I mean, I didn't know, but I actually pulled a video of both of them talking on YouTube, and there's a part in both videos where they say the word "magic," and it is eerily similar to their voice,
Mhm.
so who knows?
Okay, the only thing I want to ask is this a EVP or was that disembodied?
This is EVP because we didn't hear it at the time.
Okay, yeah. Now,
Yep.
and as usually the case, ladies and gentlemen, I took the liberty of maybe amping some of these up without compromising the file. We didn't play with it, but
Thanks for
I
doing that, I should
realized a
have done
lot of
that.
right, a lot of you are listening on cell phones and things like that and don't
Yeah.
have headphones. So for your enjoyment. All right, so the next place we're going to go to is none other than the
Mm.
RMS Queen Mary.
Right, gotta have one from here.
Okay, and now this is the Rosie
Okay.
clip. So go ahead.
Alright, so this is a very old, capture, I wanna say from 2009-ish, captured in the former 1st and 3rd class pool, the very well-known pool. She had 2 pools. The 2nd class's one was stripped in the Long Beach conversion. So, we were in there doing an investigation, right? And so, little Jackie, as well as some of the other child spirits, a lot of times will do, songs with them, like "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," "Ring
Mhm,
Around the Rosie," "London Bridges." So that I'm singing terribly in this clip, mind you, but I purposely leave the word "down" out of the
mhm.
main verse of the song as an experiment to see if anyone in the ethereal realm would answer, and sure enough, that's what happens. And it's
Okay.
repeated too, so
Ring Around the Rosie, folks, which is actually a kind of a depressing song if you know the background.
I know, right? Oh, and this is EVP too, because yeah, we didn't hear it at the time.
Okay, this is an EVP, unheard at the
Yeah.
time. This is the pool area and Jackie.
Roses, hearts, ashes, ashes, we all fall. Roses, hearts, ashes, ashes, we all fall. Ashes, ashes, we all fall. Ashes, ashes, we all fall. Ashes, ashes, we all fall.
Awesome. So now we are dealing with a spirit that's, we love to label things, so we'll call it intelligent, but
Yep.
obviously engaged and acknowledging you. And this is what happens a lot of time. Let me ask you a question off. How many times did you visit that pool area before you got this?
Oh, several. I don't have an exact number, but my god, several, and there's other times where we would do, like, "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" or,
Yeah.
"London Bridges Falling Down," and we've
Hmm.
sometimes audibly heard responses to those songs as well, but this was definitely an EVP.
Hmm. And
So
when we go on our off ramp later, I want to talk to you about tulpas and just briefly, but
Oh,
we're
sure.
we're well on our way to this right now. Now, the next one is from the Rancho Buena Vista, and I think I've got the right picture here. And beautiful, absolutely
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah, it's
And I know they have
gorgeous there.
weddings and receptions there, so
Yeah.
very,
I'm
very nice.
actually too I'm seeing a question, the recorder type. So for the previous 2 that were played, very old Olympus, I think it was the Olympus WS-100 recorders. Yeah, like, right? I still use it, I don't care. I still use it. Rosemary Ellen Guiley too was using one night. I'm like, "Aren't they great?" Oh,
That's
man.
why we friends. She knows Dale Kazmarek, Troy Taylor, and the late great Rosemary. So
Oh, yeah, I miss her. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
You do. Okay, so this is the Rancho Buena Vista. What is the what's the background on this, Nicole?
All right, so I just want to make a shout out to my very dear friend, Ali Schreiber. We have been partners on the team for so many years, and she, along with me, co-hosting of the tours there, and we did a lot of private investigations there. So all of this clip here that you're gonna hear, she was there that night. Um, Wait, my computer just went off. Sorry. So the background of which one do you have logged up again?
Rancho Buena Vista, the horses.
Okay, good. Yeah. So while on a tour one night, we were in a room known as the Major Domo room. And so that's one of the rooms where we would do like live ITC sessions, usually with the PSB7 or Radio Shack Hack. And so one of the owners, Cave Couch Jr. at the time, owned horses. He didn't live on the property, but his horses were there. So we decided to ask a historical question. And so this is kind of a long clip. There's some stuff in between, but you'll hear me ask, how many horses do you have? There's a numbered response. Later on, Allie thinks she hears the word Appy, like as an Appaloosa. That
Okay.
prompts her to ask, do you have any Appaloosa horses? And there is a response. And so her and I have had so many amazing experiences at the Adobe. I don't know if she's listening, but if she is, love you, Allie.
We love you too, Allie.
Yeah, see, everyone loves Allie. Yay. Okay.
Keep at it. So it's only about a minute long, but fascinating, interesting. Okay, here we go.
How many horses are here? Three. So there you go. That's an example of a contextual answer. That's what we're looking for.
Really good.
There you go.
Thank you.
Very good. Yes. I had an inkling to ask about the horses. Can you tell us the colors of them? Are they brown, black? I don't know what that said.
Do you have any Appaloosa horses?
Two. How many horses are here? How many horses are here? How many horses are here?
Do you have any Appaloosa horses? Do you have any Appaloosa horses? Do you have any Appaloosa horses?
It's awesome.
Oh my, is she listening?
Hey.
Oh my gosh. What?
She's in here. Hi, Allie.
Oh, I had no idea. Oh, Allie, we need to talk, right? There's so much to catch up on. Okay. We'll do that one day.
Now that's cool because obviously, within context, you didn't ask for a number of horses and get the word spaghetti back at you. So
No.
those are compelling.
Yeah, and with ITC, I'm sure you would agree with this. What we look for is clarity, of course, but we look for, are the responses historically relevant? Are they related to what we're talking about? And that's exactly what would happen at the Adobe, night after night. I don't know. It's amazing.
What I like about it is it's not a clip where you ask the same question 75 times and finally you get what you're expecting here.
Right. Yep.
Which is extremely important and what you have to balance out here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the next one is also at the pool. And we have a response from your little girl, Jackie. Let me ask you a question now. Is Jackie like an historical name that someone years and years and years ago bestowed upon her?
We don't know the origins of Jackie.
Yeah.
There's along on the internet, someone many years ago said her last name is Torin. I've tried to look into that. I can't find any information there, so we don't know her origins. I've thought about, did she come through from the Titanic? Was she Titanic? Did she come through as a stowaway? Was she the child of one of the crew members? We don't know.
Hmm.
But for whatever reason, she's very intelligent. And it seems that other resident spirits on board the Queen Mary know who she is based on my experience. So,
Hmm.
but I looked into the name of Jackie and what it symbolizes, and I put it in my book. And for the love of me, I forget something about, I think, God is great or something like that.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, yeah, she's very well known,
We've
very
had
intelligent.
experiences where a spirit, and it was a little girl,
Mm.
ironically enough, was assigned the name of Sarah. Pretty,
Oh, right, Sarah.
17th
Mhm.
century, 18th century Sarah. But we found out different later what the little girl's name was, but yet she would respond to it regardless
Right.
because maybe they just get used to hearing it and it's like, oh, okay, they're talking to me. But this is the pool area and another really cool one.
Yeah, so okay, go ahead and play it. Hi, Jackie. It's Nicole. Hi, Jackie. It's Nicole. Hi, Jackie. It's Nicole.
Wow.
That's nuts, right? Yeah. And it almost sounds like there's like she murmurs something before it, but what I've heard and what others have heard is a hi Nicole back kind of in like a more mumbled form, but this the voice of this capture is in my opinion an absolute Jackie clip just
This
based
is
on other from what I've heard.
now before you had said that, because I was going to say some people will look at this, it's subjective. Um, but before you said that, on the second repeat of it, that's what popped into my head.
Yeah.
That didn't, because I was just putting this together. I really wasn't. Okay, what does this say and everything? But
Right.
that I can kind of dig that it
I
was.
don't yeah. Yeah, there's something before. I almost think it's very murmured. I almost think she might be saying something. I'm going to mimic it like, "Where are you? I can't see you." And then the hi Nicole, something like that. But
Mhm. Now,
yeah,
somebody mentioned that sounds sad, and that may be true, but I think you have to bear in mind that we don't know how much effort that it takes.
that's true.
You
That's
know,
very true.
something labored, maybe just struggling to get the words out. So I think we have
Right.
to just be as objective as we can on that. Hello, George.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
just taking a perspective again of being empathetic. If this entity is the entity of a child, have you ever pictured like a child often distracted, looking away from you, and so they may be mumbling because they're doing something else at the same time? Not
yeah,
necessarily that that it's sad or something's going on, but she's just responding, but distracted by something else. Just
absolutely. And a little side bit too is this was my first time back or one of my second time back after COVID. So it was literally my first time back in the former first and third class pool in like 5 or 6 years.
Hmm.
So that, gave it a little bit more context for it.
Right. So do you find that other people record her voice, and I'm talking like, legitimately, or do you feel that there's a recognition there and this could be a response to you because she missed you or you haven't been around for a while, you know?
I think that that's possible. I always try to
Mhm.
take the humble road, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've been going there for years. I've interacted with her so many times that I do think that there's an intelligent interaction, so to speak.
Hmm.
So that I do believe that, but she's very she seems to be very engaging with certain people and
Right.
drawn to certain individuals.
Yeah.
So
I,
that's
I,
the kind of
I'm
thought on that.
I'm the same way when people say they respond to you. It's like I don't know if I'm willing to die on that hill. But
Right. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to,
yeah,
yeah, it's,
right.
I want to take the humble road, but
Absolutely. So the last clip here is from the Berkeley ferry boat.
oh, yeah.
Okay. And that's beautiful, by the way. Just
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
now, is there a sister ship to that part close to it?
There's other, it's part of the Maritime Museum of San Diego. So there's other vessels near it. Like
Yeah.
Star of India is like right next to it.
Because I thought there was another one that's also haunted that's in proximity to it.
That would be the Star of India.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. There you
Originally known as the Uterp, but yeah, the Star of India is perpendicular to it, but it's literally like right there.
Okay, very good. So this is again a child. So if you want to set this up, anything, what else do we need to know?
Oh, sure. So this was captured 2010. It was during the Maritime Ghost Conference that occurred at the Maritime Museum of San Diego. So
Mhm.
this was an overnight investigation of the Berkeley. So myself with some other teams, we were down in the boiler room. No one else was on board except us and a security guard. But we kept hearing audibly a little girl. So myself and I think it was Tim from Pacific Paranormal Investigations that we went up out to the top deck just to see if anyone was out in the parking lot outside. Very late. It was like maybe 2 in the morning. No one, no little girl anywhere in the vicinity. So we came back down, and then that's when this was captured. And you'll hear us document that we heard this live. So this is a disembodied voice.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Yeah, this is one of the ones that I may have amped up a little bit for you folks because it's sort of like labored, whispered type thing. Um,
yeah. And then
but
there's the shrimp. I think it's the pistol shrimp that are popping on the side of the vessel too. So
right,
yeah.
right. Okay, so this again, I think this will blow your mind.
What's your mom's name? Oh my goodness. Are we sure that there's not anyone up here? Mommy? Yes. Mommy. What's your mom's name? Oh my goodness. Are we sure that there's not anyone up here? Mommy? Yes. Mommy.
Any breadcrumb trails or clues to why a child would be on that vessel?
I've thought about this. This vessel was known to help people during the 1906 uh, earthquake evacuation, San Francisco earthquake evacuations.
Okay.
So it's very possible that that element plays into it. But I've thought about this same thing, and I
Yeah.
just, that's the only thing that really sticks. Is it possible that it's a transient sort of capture? Is it related to maybe one of the other vessels nearby?
hmm
I don't know, but
Along those
yeah.
lines, where do you come down on ghosts versus spirits? I think ghosts are like those residual things that you see who don't acknowledge you, they're not aware of you at all. Whereas spirits can come and go and they display free will. They're not
Yeah.
necessarily, because I think it's overstated, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think it's overstated sometimes when we talk about spirits being trapped and
Oh,
they
I
can't
agree with
leave
that.
here and we got to cross them over. And I've always been of the mind, I'm not sure that I personally can do it. I've never tried. And the other thing is, I don't know if we should. I mean, who are we to say get out of here? But do you think, for the most part, that these are spirits that maybe just revisit, come in visitation, and there's someplace else that they can go?
You use some of the same words that I've used to describe spirit, free will, they can come back, when they please. There seems to be a higher level of intelligence or a higher uh, emotional intelligence, so to speak, earthbounds, if we want to call that a ghost. Yeah, I think there's definitely a distinction there. I try not to overly classify, but uh, out of the ones that I've communicated, it's hard to know whether most of them are spirit versus ghost. I tend to be more of the spirit
Hmm.
category than the ghost category, because I think when you say ghost or earthbound, it does have more of a residual type feel, or like a
Right.
memory imprint or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, to average people, if you describe a corporeal entity, like, what are you talking about? But you use the word ghost, and okay, now I know what that is. You don't have to get
Yeah.
fancy on me here. Real quick, before I get into another thing, I wanted to talk about this, and I'll do my experience that I have at the Conjuring House, for example.
Oh,
With
sure.
there was a book by our dear friend Andrea.
Oh, yeah.
The a series, a trilogy actually, and that got the ball rolling. And then the movie decided to do it from the Warrens' point of view. And of course, Hollywood got a hold of the story, and there's
Right.
a witch who stabs infants with, sewing needle and things like that, which didn't happen. Many things didn't happen, but people bought into the movie. It's a good movie. Um, so what happened is you get people who come into the house from that perspective.
Right. Right.
And I always wonder if they create a negativity. I've
Yes.
never experienced it. I think that is so over. I've had nothing but positive experiences there. But you bounce around to some of these places, and you know how it is. People come in and they want to sensationalize things or ramp it up.
Absolutely.
So, how do you feel about that, where someone can not only create something in the physical world, but they can also bring a bad vibe in there too?
Yeah, it's one of those things that we have to contend with and be aware of. Investigators need to be aware of this possibility. In
Mhm.
fact, you're the first person that I've ever talked to that has said that you've had beautiful or positive experiences at that location.
Yeah.
I've heard, and I know, there's the sensationalized version, and then there's more of the academic type of route that we like to take, and it's one of those things that you have to. Sadly, I don't see it going anywhere. I wish it would, but it's, as investigators, there needs to be more education in that regard on how to sift through the sensationalistic sort of aspect and the created, like the tulpas or the forced haunts, or the created thought forms that can come into play.
Yeah. Uh,
So,
but I think that that's the job of responsible investigators to not.
yes.
I know it's easier said than done because you go into certain places, the background. It could be a unaliving house for all you YouTubers out there. I'm using the proper nomenclature here. Don't kill me with the and you get you, if you have any empathy at all. I mean, you feel bad for what's going on. So it's easier said than done to put those things aside, but if you've kicked around this long enough, I guess you'll learn how to do it,
Yeah.
and not let it bog you down. But I wanted to ask, obviously you have a very grounded, methodical approach, and you seem to be the type of investigator who approaches with respect. Your first EVP question isn't, did you die here? It's just like, oh, let's
No.
start off with the
Mm-mm.
worst day of this person's life, right? That's a
Right.
good one.
Yep.
How has your process evolved Like, at what point did you go right into it saying, this is going to be who I am? Not saying that, 20 years ago you were provoking anything, but eventually your approach evolves over time. So when about did that happen to you that you said, listen, I'm going to do my research and I'll get more flies with honey here?
I two things here. I think I've always had that approach. I mean, when I was younger, I've had experiences as far back as I can remember, a
Hmm.
very profound experience with my maternal grandmother. So I've been exposed to the paranormal from for many years, and have always, I think we're all intuitive, yada yada yada. I think we all have the ability to channel. Just some people are more adept at it than others, but I approached it from that standpoint initially because that's what felt right for me. But initially, when I got into the field, I was a little more concerned with, not that it's not important, it's very, very important, but what evidence can I capture on this investigation? Am I going to get a ghost photo? How many EVPs or whatnot am I going to capture? Now I think I've evolved to where I I'm more concerned with the rapport that I can build with the location as a whole.
Hmm.
The rapport I can build with my teammates, just people in general, and then of course the spirits as well. I think building that rapport and getting to know them and humanizing it a little bit more instead of compartmentalizing it down into, okay, I just am concerned about evidence. Not that it's still very, very important, but I've also too, I think, evolved to where I'm studying a little bit more on uh, psi phenomena, things like that.
Hmm.
The soul survival of consciousness after death. I'm kind of going down, not kind of, I am going down that route as well. So that's more of the afterlife as well. So
Right. And
yeah.
that kind of leads me into the next thing. And if you have, I see a couple of them there. I'm going to leave that to George at some point. If you have questions for Nicole, we told you, put them up there and ask them, and we'll get them to her for sure, for sure. Okay, so after 20 years, you start off with different questions. They may come from a personal standpoint, like, I want
Hmm.
to know more about this. We all get into the field for different reasons. Maybe
Sure.
we had experience as a child, or maybe we just have a curiosity about these things, sometimes combination of both. But after you spent a couple of decades doing this, at some point, if you stick with it, you're going to either walk away from it, and usually that happens to people real quick when the flaming heads don't come through the wall like on TV, right? But if you stay with it long enough, the chances are good that you're going to have an experience or record some data that is going to answer that question for you. The basic question, is there something beyond this? Once you get to that point, and we were talking about it before the show, the dog finally catches the car. Now,
Yeah.
what do you do with it? So, after those questions are answered, what keeps you motivated to just keep on keeping it? It's like, okay, go surreal. I'm selling all the equipment. I'm out of here. So, what keeps somebody in the field for 20 years?
Well, for me, from a personal standpoint, I can say there's a passion for it. I'm not just thrill seeking. I'm not out there wanting to get scared or thrill seek and that's it, and not do all of the tedious work that should be done on a legit paranormal investigation or case study. So
Hmm.
there's a passion, there's a desire for it. So that's first and foremost for me. Am I out to prove the existence of ghosts or spirits or paranormal phenomena? No, I
Good
believe,
for
I
you.
know that there's something out there,
Good
right?
for you.
Do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. Do I think the mortal realm is permitted to know all the answers? Absolutely not. But I think we're allowed to get glimpses of it. But it comes down to, what are you passionate about? If you're just wanting to go get scared and not really learn about all of the aspects of what we do, then that's one thing. But if you're really wanting to learn the ropes of what paranormal research entails, then you have a better chance of having some sort of longevity
Hmm.
in the field. So
Yeah.
that's my take.
You have to, I mean, you don't have to be a scientist. When people say I
No,
approach it scientifically, I think that we're not scientists. We use technology,
right.
which is something different. Um, but I do think that those questions, like you can read a little bit about physics, you can read a little bit about metaphysics. There is a little bit about psychology. It doesn't give you a license, but you can learn a little bit about all that stuff, which is the fascinating thing because it's part of the human condition. We like to use a meter, but the thing we don't look into is the human condition,
That's right.
how we respond when something's projected at us, how our brains perceive it. And,
Right.
so sometimes I think that that's lacking a little bit. So,
Oh, I agree.
you
I do
know,
agree.
because it's all part of the human condition. So, anyway, I'm going to turn this over to George. We'll be back to say goodbye. But thank you from the bottom of my heart, Nicole.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me.
you've been a pleasure to talk to. But I'll be back.
Oh, all right. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Likewise.
It's interesting the conversation you're having with Ken. I've always been a proponent of this. Is we go out and do what we do because we hope to establish, um, whether it be a location, whether it be a procedure, whether it be a piece of equipment, or the individual themselves, more consistency in our communication, something that we are still sorely lacking. Everything is given as the upside down part of a puzzle piece.
I know, isn't that the truth?
And I always have said and still continue to say, and it's something that seems to be proven time and again by those who have gifts, uh, that I would be just thrilled to death. I don't need to know about the mysteries of the universe being unlocked, but if I could talk to my mother or my brother and have them say, I'm just doing fine, and I hope you are too. I think that unto itself is magic for the field if we can get to that level of consistency.
And right there, you're humanizing it,
Yeah,
right?
because
That's
otherwise it's
exactly
lost.
what, yeah, it's right. You have to have that human element in there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, our audience has some questions for you. Some of them are a bit redundant, but we can kind of collaborate them together.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
first one from Joseph Freza. What's one of the more active investigations you've done? And of course, if it's residential, then you have to generalize. We understand that.
Oh my gosh, there have been so many that have been very active, but I've already talked about, the Queen Mary and the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, but I will say libraries. We've done some libraries in the San Diego area, and those have
Yeah.
been very active. Yeah, Chula Vista. We did Escondido Public Library a few times. Allie can attest to this. We've had some amazing experiences and consistent experiences throughout the night when we did those. So, yeah, cool stuff.
What's your rationale to the activity? The imprint on the pages
All of that.
from these
Yeah.
writers?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the imprint on the pages, the different hands the books have been in, even the land itself prior to the libraries even being built, the history of that land itself or adjacent buildings, all of that I think plays into effect.
But not the ghost librarian like Ghostbusters.
Can you imagine? I used to terrify me when I was a kid, and then I've seen it as an adult, and I'm like, really? Same with the Superman 3 scene, that scene where she turns into a cyborg. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
No, for me, it'll
Cheesy.
still stick with me, The Exorcist, and the original black and white Nosferatu, because I saw that as a kid. Night mess,
Oh, yeah.
night
Oh,
mess.
that's a good one right there. They're both good.
Sandy Andrews and Dan St. Marie both had a similar question, and I want to kind of expand upon this. Where was your favorite place to investigate, and where's a place you haven't investigated but would love to?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Let's start with the second part of that. And this is a travesty. I was just talking to my friend Michael Lasciana about this before the show. I have not been to Gettysburg yet. And first and foremost, I want to go pay my respects. But
Yes.
it's a travesty I haven't been, so that's definite. First and foremost, to pay my respects. So many. Tower of London's another one. There's other battleships. I mean,
You
the list
you
goes
shocked
on.
Ken. Ken came on screen to show you how shocked.
I know. I said it's a travesty. I know. Look at him. He's going to be stuck in that look now all night. Sorry, my bad. Oh gosh, let's see. My favorite place to invest. Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite. Oh my, I don't want to say Queen Mary because I've already talked about it, although it is. Oh man, you know, I will say ships in general. So Star of India. We've done investigations at the Star of India, as well as the Berkeley, of course. USS Hornet in Alameda. So all of the ship investigations I've done have been favorites of mine. There's just something about ships.
Where is the dividing line for you? Because you've been on land and sea.
Yeah,
You've talked about with the Queen Mary, because of the copper, the metals, the various metals, and also being on water, being all conductors for the activity going on there. But you could find the same thing at a library. So, is there a decisive difference between the two?
I think it boils down to the history aspect. A huge foundation is the historical layers of that property, but unique to the Queen Mary, not that other sites can't have this too, they do, but I think something very unique about the Queen Mary, in my opinion, I could be wrong, is that it seems to be very magnetic. I'm not necessarily talking about the physical description of like magnetism, but for some reason it acts as a transmitter and receiver of spiritual energy. And I feel like it's a time capsule where past, present, and future kind of all fuse together. So, but the history, the people, there's obviously, like you said, more components just because, like, yeah, buildings, libraries, we have a lot of the same types of components, but I think it boils down to the history as well.
Would you say that the Queen Mary has both a positive and negative charge in polarity?
Probably.
Interesting. We may mention something to you after the show, Ken and I, that you'll find quite interesting. But all right, so we've talked about the past. Let's talk about the future. January 3rd, you had an event. You have another event coming up here, February 11th, correct?
Yeah, February 11th. Yeah, I'm actually presenting, and I've presented at this before, the Point Loma Library. So it's in Point Loma, about 20 minutes from me. And I'm doing San Diego's Most Haunted. So I talk about like 25 different locations in San Diego or the San Diego area, San Diego County, that are historical and very known for their paranormal activity. So that's coming up. And I just presented on January 3rd at Laguna Woods Life After Life Club.
And
So
any prospects as far as just going and investigating outside of the realm of San Diego for you right now? Again, somewhat
right
in that bucket
now,
list level, but you make connections with so many people. Case in point, in the New England area now, that could
yeah,
be opening doors.
there are so many places throughout the US even that I wanna travel to. So like I said, I'd like to, go out more with the Ghost Research Society and do some of, their sites because 'cause they're very active in the summer, and even go into, like, New England area where you guys are. I mean, even the South too, like, Savannah is one of my favorite cities,
Yeah, and right
and
around the
talk
corner
about the
from me,
history.
I'm over here by Saint Augustine, so the
See,
lighthouse,
Saint
the old jail.
yes. Yeah, so I'm if I could, I would just take an entire year and travel and go to all these locations. I do wanna make one more, mention about the Queen Mary, though, in case people are wondering. In my opinion, though, because I didn't state this at all before, during the, show, I feel that I'm basing this on my experiences and my knowledge of the ship. I've never had anything negative or anything scary or anything like that occur on the Queen Mary. I think the energy there in a spiritual sense is actually very positive and very embracing. So I wanted to make that point earlier and I forgot and I just remembered it.
Well, what's the temperature right now in San Diego?
Oh shoot, I don't know, like 70 maybe.
Yeah, don't come to Florida.
Don't. At first, at the beginning, I thought you were being sarcastic because Florida's usually hot. Are you serious? It's 61
Currently
here.
42.
61. My gosh, that's
Yeah,
unusual
it's
for Florida.
yeah. I'm moving to the sun. I'm not going to be able to take this anymore.
Oh my!
Ken, come on back on screen.
I
So
thought you were being sarcastic.
no,
maybe I don't know.
it's brutally cold. It is
Oh
brutally cold
no.
for us. It is.
Yeah.
Again, as they were saying earlier, up in the New England area, 42 would be t-shirt weather.
Right. Oh my gosh. I'd be freezing. I would be so cold.
Nicole, and you said you got another book you might be working on with regards to the Queen Mary.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have another one slated to come out.
If this hasn't been asked, I want to ask it. What is the current state of that ship as far as ownership, as far as because we've heard from our friends out on the West Coast who've also spent a lot of time on the Queen Mary. It's a matter of who owns it now, who's trying to sell it, the price it would take to do the renovations, which are extensive on the hull and underwater and so forth. What do you know about that, Nicole?
Yeah, so for the first time in over 40 years, the city of Long Beach resumed ownership of the Queen Mary. And so that's been amazing. And she has already received a lot of very critical, urgent repairs and more on the way. So it's
Mhm.
actually, it's in a good place right now.
That's
Now
all.
with the pandemic, there was talk about, okay, do we scrap, do we sink, or do we restore?
Hmm.
And so, obviously, but I think one thing I didn't mention before is I believe, and this may sound hokey to some people, I believe the Queen Mary itself is a sentient vessel. So I like to say, well, it's up to what she wants, and obviously she's still here. So, but
Right.
she's doing really well, doing a lot, yeah. They removed her lifeboats, and a lot of the urgent critical repairs have been done or in the process.
That's encouraging, though. It's
Yeah,
encouraging.
very encouraging.
No question at all.
Yeah.
Nicole, welcome to Dead Air. And we always say it in
Oh,
that sense because this is not the last time we'll have you on. There'll be other upcoming things that we want you to come and join us and talk about. Uh,
sure. I'd be delighted.
yeah. And I'm sure, again, everybody that's in the chat there, you could find Nicole on Facebook, Instagram. She's got her own YouTube channel, uh, TikTok, I believe, also,
Oh,
correct?
I just joined it. I hardly even post to it, but I did do it. I did.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Join
I
the maniacal group out there, like
if
we're
I,
all.
Right.
if I could say really quickly, Nicole, you found your way into our hearts, our audience's hearts, and
Oh.
it's been a great interview. One of my favorites, actually.
Are
So,
you me? Oh my
oh
gosh.
yeah, just little old you, but
Oh my god. You just made my entire month. And one thing I
oh,
want to say too is I appreciate your respect and passion that you have for this field
mm,
because it's very evident, and I appreciate the thoughtful questions and the very thoughtful discussions that you have with your guests.
great.
So,
Well, we appreciate it. So, what's the
yes.
scariest place you've ever been to? No, I'm kidding.
Oh shoot. Well, I do have a story. I don't know if there's time I can share.
Do you have your best door picture?
Uh, let's see. Oh my god, orbs. Sorry, I just had to say it. Real quick, we investigated a restaurant in Oceanside, and we were about an hour into the investigation when all of a sudden six of us broke into two teams of three. When all of a sudden, my radio turned on, and the investigator was like, "Stay where you are. This place has been robbed." So yeah, two men came through the kitchen armed with guns. It was a whole thing. The police detained us. We had our little liability waiver signed and all of that. Luckily, we're still alive. But yeah, that stuff can happen, folks, on an investigation. So have those.
Fear the living, folks.
Yes, fear the living, because have your emergency protocols in place, folks, because that did happen.
At all times.
God, I swear.
Nicole, don't hang up. Stay with us as
Sure.
we sign off here for our Patreon members. I know a good bunch of you were at yesterday's Funny for Funds event, so we have a lot to talk about. Your experiences there, what you thought about it. So that's 8 p.m. tomorrow night on Patreon. If you'd like to become a Patreon member and joining us there, it's patreon.com/Dead Air Paranormal. Make sure you guys check it out. But that does it for our show tonight, guys. We'll see you next week. Until then, take care of yourselves. My name is George Lopez. With me, Mr. Ken DaCosta. Thanks for watching.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, big